Okay, today we see the methods of sampling. The sampling methods are classified into two. One is probability based, another is non-probability based. Probability based sampling methods, non-probability based sampling methods. What are the probability based sampling methods? First is simple sampling. Second is systematic sampling. Third is stratified sampling. Fourth is cluster sampling. And fifth is multiple stage sampling. There are 5 types of probability samplings. And non-probability samplings are: one is convenience sampling, second is judgment sampling, third is quota sampling, fourth is snowball sampling. Okay, these are the types or methods of sampling: probability based, non-probability based. What is probability based sampling and what is non-probability based sampling? So the probability sampling method. What is probability sampling? Probability sampling means that every member of the population has chance of being selected as a sample. If every member of the population or every member of the group is having a chance of being selected as a sample, and that sampling is called as probability sampling. It is mainly used in quantitative research. Probability sampling is used mainly in quantitative sampling. Quantitative means where you can count numerically. Quantitative sampling. There are two types of some research. One is quantitative research, another is qualitative research. Okay. In the quantitative research, probability sampling is applicable. And if you want to produce results that are representative of whole population, if you want to know the result of whole population based on sampling, the probability sampling is the best method of sampling. Okay, remember 2 points regarding probability sampling. In the probability sampling, each member of the group or of the population has a chance of being selected as sample member, sample. Okay, that is the first one. And the selection is made, sample selection is made on random base. Random base. These are the two important points regarding the probability sampling. Okay, we'll see the probability samplings one by one. The first is simple random sample. What is simple random sample? In this simple random sample, every member of population has equal chance of being selected. Your sampling frame should include the whole population. Your sampling frame should include whole population, means out of total group of members from all the groups, from all members, you have to take required members randomly without any choose or selection. Selection should be made randomly. For example, you want to study the performance of your become third sem. Okay, there are 80 students. Okay, let us consider there are 80 students. Then you want to select 10 students. Then that 10 students should be selected randomly without any specifications. Randomly select roll number 10, 15, 17, 18 or 91, 61 like that. You take 10 randomly. That sampling is called as simple random sample. Okay, simple random sample. You see the first one. And second, to conduct this type of sample, you can use tools like random numbers, number generators, or other techniques that can be used on the basis of entirely on chance. Random selection, you know it. You may create the cheats, or you may write the numbers and randomly select the numbers. It is possible. Okay. Out of 100, if you want to take 10, that 10 is to be taken randomly without any proper specifications. This is the first one. And second is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling. I'll take the same example. In the simple random sample, 80 students are there. 80 students, you selected 10 students. You have taken the 10 students for the your study purpose. Okay. Out of 10 you selected, how you selected? Simply randomly selected 10. Roll number 8, roll number 20, roll number 23, roll number 61, roll number 72, like that you randomly selected. That is called a simple random sampling. And second is systematic random sampling. How? The systematic random sampling means it is same as simple random sampling, but it is usually slightly easier to conduct. Okay. So every member of the population is listed with a number. For every member of the population or every member of the group is given a number, serial number. Instead of randomly generating the number, individuals are chosen regular intervals. We choose the regular intervals. I'll tell you the example. 80 students are there and 80 students are having the roll numbers. Okay. You want to select 10 students out of 80 for your study purpose. 10 students you are going to select. How to select those 10 students? The 10 students. Okay, you write serial number 1 to 80. Then choose at fixed intervals. Fixed interval means, for example, you want to select the 10 students. Okay. At the you divide by 10. 80 divided by 10. At the rate of 8 interval, you have to select one candidate. Okay. For example, roll number 8 is selected. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. 10 students. Like this, systematically you select. Okay. Once again, I tell you, 80 students are there. You want to select 10 students. How to select means 80 divided by 10. 8 is the interval. At the rate of 8 interval, you have to select the students randomly. Okay. You can select 8, 16, 24, roll number 24, roll number 32, roll number 40, roll number 48, roll number 56, roll number 64, roll number 72, roll number 80. Okay. Otherwise, you can select 5, roll number 5. 5 plus 8, 13. 13 plus 8, 21. 21 plus 8, 29. 29 plus 8, 37. Like this, you select the 10 required. This is called as systematic sampling. Okay. And third is stratified sampling. What is stratified sampling? In the stratified sampling, the total population is divided into subpopulations. Total population is divided. For example, you are going to study the performance of the GI Bagewadi College students. You want to study the performance of the GI Bagewadi College students. Okay, your study is related with GI Bagewadi College students. Then how to select the samples? How to select the sample means you divide the whole students. For example, in the J.I. Bhagewadi College, there are three faculty: arts, science, commerce. Okay, you divide arts, science, commerce students. This is called as subpopulations. That may differ from important ways. Important ways. It allows you to draw more precise conclusions by ensuring that every subgroup is properly represented in the sample. Okay. If you divide the whole population into subgroups, and from each subgroup, if you take the samples, then that sample will be a very accurate, that sample will provide you accurate result to you people. Okay. For example, from arts faculty, you take 10 students. From science, you take 10 students. From commerce, you take 10 students. And you study the performance of those students. And that result of the your study reflects accurate result regarding the performance of students of G.I. Bhagewadi College. Okay, this is called as stratified sampling. Stratified sampling. And to use this sampling method, you divide the population into subgroups. That is called as strata. Okay, based on the relevant characteristics. You have to divide whole population based on certain relevant characteristics. Okay, sometimes you divide on the basis of the gender differences. You may divide on the basis of age, age range, on the basis of income. There is an internet problem. Okay, stratified sampling. Division of population is to be made on the basis of certain relevant characteristics. Okay, I classified the total student based on science, arts, commerce, like this. This is the relevant characteristic. And from arts, you take some students, from science and commerce. Okay, this method of sampling is called as stratified sampling. Next is cluster sampling. What is cluster sampling? This is also same as stratified sampling. This is same as stratified sampling, but only one difference is there. In the cluster sampling, we divide the population into subgroups, but each subgroup should have similar characteristics. In this case, we give consideration to whatever subgroups we make, all these subgroups must have same characteristics, same characteristics. And instead of selecting sample from each group, only one group is selected as your sample size, as your sample size. Okay, I will tell you the same example. G.I. Bhagewadi College students' performance is to be studied. How to study it? You divide the population. How to divide the population? The population is divided into arts, science, commerce. Okay, three groups. And again, I divide the arts into first sem, third sem, fifth sem. In the same way, commerce and science. There are 9 groups. 9 groups means BSc 3 groups, BCom 3 groups, and BA 3 groups. Out of these 9 groups, I select one group, one class as sample. One class as a sample randomly. That may be BCom 1 or BA 1 or BSc 1 or BSc 5th sem or BCom 5th sem or BA 3rd sem, whatever we did. One group itself is selected as a sample. That is called as cluster sample. In the stratified sample, we take sample from each group, but in the cluster sampling, group itself is considered as sample size. This is the point you remember. Okay. If it is practically possible, you might include every individual from each sample sample cluster. Each member is to be included for your sample cluster, means last unit. If the clusters themselves are large, you can also sample individually from within each cluster using one of the above technique. If the cluster is a large number, again you go for any one method of the first, second, or third. Suppose you selected, I'll tell you, total students are divided into arts, science, commerce. Okay. Then commerce is divided into first year, second year, third year. In the same way, arts and commerce, arts and science also. Then you selected the science, BSc. BSc first sem selected as a sample. But in the BSc first sem, there are 250 students. It is not possible to study all these 240 students. Then you go for systematic sampling or stratified sampling or simple random sampling. Okay. This is the fourth one. Now we study the non-probability sampling methods. What is the non-probability sampling method? In a non-probability sampling, individuals are selected, not randomly. Individuals are selected based on non-random criteria. Non-random criteria means they are purposefully selected. Purposefully selecting the members of the population, and not every individual has a chance of being included. You remember this point. This is opposite of probability sampling. In this case, we select the known one. Which we want to select, we select those people. And all the members of the group are not having a chance of being included in the sample, because sample is selected on the basis of the knowledge of the researcher. Okay, this is called as non-probability sampling. This type of sampling is easier and cheaper to assess because the researcher select according to his requirement, not according to the random selection. According to the requirement, he select the sample, not on the basis of random selection. Random selection is a difficult, and non-random selection is very easy. Okay. Suppose I'll tell you the example. Instead of selecting randomly students from your class, if I select the known students to me for my information, it is very easy to me. That is called as non-random sampling. Okay. And non-random sampling technique, non-random sampling techniques are often appropriate for explanatory and qualitative research. This is useful only where explanatory research is there and qualitative research is there, and research is based on so many areas. Then we apply this non-probability sampling because we collect the information from the known people. In this type of research, the aim is not to test hypotheses. We are not going to test the hypothesis about the broad population, but to develop an initial understanding of a small or under-researched population. We are not testing the hypothesis. Testing the hypothesis means the assumptions. Assumptions may be tested with the help of known or unknown. But we are making the research on this population, initial understanding of the small or under-researched population, which are related one. If you want to study the persons related to your topic, that is called as non-probability sampling method. Okay, remember this. Probability sampling is applicable to quantitative research and non-probability sampling method is applicable to qualitative research. This is the point you remember. Okay. Then what are the methods of non-probability? First is convince sampling. Convince sampling means it is a very simply a convince sample simply includes the individuals who happen to be most assessed to the researcher, most accessible to the researcher. The persons who are most accessible to the researcher, those peoples are selected. Convince sampling. Convince sampling as per your convenience. As per your convenience means, for example, I am a lecturer. I am a lecturer and principal assigned me to study the performance of the students. I am the lecturer. Principal assigned me to study the performance of the students. Then, as for my convenience, I asked the students who are known to me. I call the students who are known to me and ask their own problems and discuss them and finally produce the result of the performance. That is called as convenience. Convenience means as per my convenience, I collect the information. This is very simple. This is easy and inexpensive way to gather initial data. It is very easy to collect the initial data, but there is no way to tell if the sample is representative of the population. So it cannot produce generalized results. The sample selected is not the representative of all the population, members of the population, because I selected the known students to me. Okay, I have not considered all the students of the college. I have not considered all the students of the college. I taken the students known to me who are convenient to me. On the basis of my convenience, I called the students and collected data. Therefore, it is not applicable to whole population. This is not applicable to whole population. This is the first one. And second is voluntary response sampling. Voluntary response sampling. What is voluntary response sampling? This is the second method of non-probability sampling. In this method, this is similar to convenience sampling method. A voluntary response sample is mainly based on easy of assess. It is based on always easy assess. Instead of the researchers choosing the participants and directly contacting them, people voluntarily themselves provide the information. Okay. They provide information voluntarily. For example, responding to public online survey. Okay, how it is? I'll tell you the same example. First example, principal, I am the employee of college. Principal ordered me to study the performance of the students. Instead of calling the students, I prepare one questionnaire. I prepare the questionnaire and put in the group. Put in the group. And the interested students will respond, send their response. The interested students will send their response voluntarily to me regarding the performance. On the basis of voluntary response given by the students, I study the performance and submit the report to the principal. That is called as voluntary response sampling. Voluntary response sampling. Okay, voluntary response samples are always at least what some biased, least somewhat biased, because the students who are voluntarily given the information, the voluntary given information may be a right information, but in some cases, to safeguard their interest, the students may give false information also. Some students may give false information also. They give according to their interest, not in the interest of whole students. Whatever voluntary information the students use, that information is their own interest, but not the interest of whole students. This is the point you remember. This is called as voluntary. Then next is purposive sampling. What is purposive sampling? Purposive sampling means it is also non-probability sampling. In this case, to reach our purpose or to have our purpose or to face our purpose, we collect the information. For example, our purpose is to study the uh, level of economic conditions of the students. Economic conditions of the students. Or our purpose is to study the problems of the failures. Our purpose is to study the problems of the failures. Okay. What are the problems of the failures? Then our sample should be related with failures. So I should go through the failures, the students who failed, and collect the information from the failed students, not from the passed student. The students who are got success, I'll not ask the questions and I'll not collect the information from them. I collect the students who failed in the exam. Okay, that is called as purposive sampling. Or you may take the handicap. I want to study the problems of handicapped or a blind students. I want to study the problems of blind. Okay, then my sample is related with blind people only. Okay. Suppose my study is related with children. Then I have to collect information from the children only. That is called as purposive. Okay. So this type of sampling involves the researcher using their judgment to select sample that is most useful to the purpose of the researchers. Whatever the purpose of research is there, for the fulfilling their purpose, they collect the information. So that information is collected from the related people. That is called as purposive sampling. I gave two examples, or three examples. One is students of failed students, blind students, then children. Okay. The next method of non-probability sampling is snowball sampling. What is snowball sampling? If the population is hard to assess, in some cases it is not possible to assess the population and it is not possible to get the required information from the concerned people. Okay, get the information from the concerned people or concerned member of the group. For example, the total population. Let us consider the total population is there, and it is very difficult to collect information from the members of the group. Or it is difficult to find the required sample members. Okay. Then snowball sampling can be used to recruit the participants. We recruit participant via other participants. Means we find one variable, one sample. With the help of that member, we collect the other required members of the sampling size. Okay. The number of people you have assessed to snowball as you get in the contact with more people. For this, I would like to give an example. The police inquiry. Police starts the inquiry. Okay. The investigations. The security people. Okay. It is very difficult to find the accused. Who are the accused? For that, policeman first finds one victim, and from that victim, he collect other remaining victims, then study the situation, come to the decision. Okay, are you getting my point? This is called as snowball sampling. Whenever it is hard to assess the population, we use the snowball sampling. Here, first we recruit the participants. First, we find any one or two members of the sample size. Then with the help of those members, we find the other members of the sample size. That is called as snowball sample. Okay. One more example I would like to give. Suppose you want to know the homeless members in the city. The persons who are not having the home. You want to know it. And it is very difficult to search each and every member in the city. Okay. At that time, you try to know any one or two members who are not having the homeless, who are not having the homes, who are not having the residence. Then they will give you information regarding the other people who are not having the home, because there may be association relating to those people. They may be fighting for their residence. Okay, like that you may collect the information. First example I gave in connection with the police inquiry. Police first collect one or two members on whom they are having certain doubts. They are having doubts regarding the thief or victim or convicts. Okay. Then they collect information from those people. That is the first one. Second is homeless people. If you want to collect information from the homeless people, then who are the persons not having the residential or their homes. It can be ascertained with the help of one or two members. If you know any one or two members who are not having homes, those people will give you a lot of information regarding the people who are not having homes. Okay, this type of method we adopt, that is called as snowball sampling. These are the types of non-probability sampling methods. Okay. Then next is important terms in our first unit is variable. What is variable? Variable is a characteristic or attribute that can assume different values. Variable means it is a character of any one, or it is related with any aspect which can different values, which is having different value. For example, height is a character of human being. Height is one character of human being. Okay. So the peoples are having different heights. Weight is one character. Why weight is one attribute relating to human being. The weight of human being differs from one person to another person. Weight differs, age differs, then income differs from one person to another person. Then the habits differ from one person to another person. Therefore, in our statistics, variable is a characteristic or attribute that can assume different values. Okay, this is the variable. I given the some examples. Okay, in what is random variable? Random variable is a variable whose values are determined by chance. If the value of the variable is determined by the chance without any selection, by chance, if you know the value, that is called as random variable. Okay. For example, you call a student, then ask the height of that student, then that height of a student is randomly selected, not by measuring the height of that student. If you measure the height of the student and then you call this to call that student, that is not called random. Okay. So if a variable whose values are determined by chance of happening the event, that is called as random variable. Then next, under the variable, another type of variable is there, that is qualitative variable. Qualitative variable which assume non-numerical value. A variable which is not possible to express in numerical terms. A variable which is not possible to express in numerical terms, that is called as qualitative variable. For example, the smartness, okay, the intelligence, okay, then the habit, okay, like that. If you are unable to express the variable in numerical terms, that is called as qualitative variable. If the variable is relating to the quality of a product or quality of a human being or a quality of any aspect, then that is called as qualitative variable. Then another is quantitative variable. Quantitative variable is connected with numerical terms, which assume numerical value. Means the variable which can be expressed in terms of numerical values. For example, height of a human being, weight of a human being, income of a human being, then age of a human being, okay, demand for the product, then price of the product. Like that, if you are able to express in terms of numerical values, that is called as quantitative variable. Okay. Then another one variable is there, classified into different ways. Discrete variable. What is discrete variable? Variable which assume a definite or countable number of possible value. You will see this point very carefully. Discrete variable. Discrete variable which assumes a definite or countable number of possible value, usually obtained by counting. Usually we obtain by counting. That variable is called as discrete variable. Discrete variable. Okay. Then one more is there. Continuous variable. What is continuous variable? Continuous variable is a variable which assume an indefinite number of possible values. Indefinite number of values. Indefinite number of values. Usually obtained by measuring. Obtained by measurement. Okay. Continuous variable, discrete variable. Continuous variable, discrete variable. What is continuous and what is discrete? It is very important. Continuous means it is not having any definite number of possible values. For example, height of a human being. I will give you the example. Height of the human being. What is the height of a human being? Okay. Height of a human being cannot be expressed in definite number. Indefinite number. Okay. Definite number. Definite number, it is not possible. How it is not possible? I say that my height is 5.11 inch. I say my height is 5.11 inch. Is it exact? No, it is not exact. Then 5.11. 5.11 is my height. Are you sure? No. It may be 5.11 like that. Answer is to the infinity. So there is a indefinite number. Okay. So in the same way, you consider the weight. What is your weight? I say that my weight is 80 kg. Okay. I say that my weight is 80 kg. Exact? No. It is 80.5. 80.5 exactly? No. It is 80.56. 80.56. No. It is 80.5678 like that. What is exact? Exact? There are so many numbers. There are so many numbers after the decimal point. Therefore, it is indefinite. In such a examples, such a variable is called as continuous variable. And the variable which is having definite number, for example, price of the product. The price of the product is 20 rupee. 20 rupee, 30 rupee, 50 rupee. Income of a person. I'll use example. Income of the citizens. What is income? 10,000 is the income. 20,000 income. 30,000 income. 40,000 income. My income is 20,000. Okay. Price of the product. What is the price? Selling price of the product is 10 rupee. 10 rupee. Exact. 30 rupee. The price of the product increased from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. It is a variable. Okay. This value is called as discrete variable. 10 rupees, 10 rupee, fixed. That is discrete. Price of a product. Such a example is called as discrete variable. If it is not possible to express the exact number, a definite number, then that variable is called as continuous variable. Okay, continuous variable. These are the points you remember regarding variable. These questions may come for 2 marks. What is variable? What is random variable? What is qualitative variable? What is quantitative variable, discrete variable, continuous variable. Okay. Then next is scales. Scale of measurement in your statistics. There are two scales in the statistics. One is nominal, another is ordinal measure. Ordinal scale, nominal scale. What is nominal scale? Nominal scale means we assign nominal numbers. Numbers are assigned simply as a symbol of the different category of observations. To observe the category, to observe the variables, or to count the variables, we give the numbers. Simply we give the number as a symbol of the different category. Symbol of the different category. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this. By giving number, assigning number simply to the observations is called as nominal scale. And another is ordinal scale. What is ordinal scale? Numbers are assigned to observations in such a way that they can be arranged in increasing or decreasing order. Whatever numbers we give, that numbers are given in such a way that the numbers may be in increasing order or decreasing order. That is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, like that. You may give increasing order. In decreasing order means 10th, 9th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 1st, like this you give the number. If there is a order in giving the number, that is called ordinal scale. If you will not follow any order, simply give the number, that is called as nominal scale. These questions you prepare for 2 marks. What is variable, what is random variable, what is qualitative variable, quantitative variable, discrete variable, continuous, like that. And what is the scales? What are the scales? Okay, this comes under the introduction of statistics. This I complete the first part of introduction regarding statistics, and in the next period we will see the graphs, diagrams and graphs.